weeks since the end of Title 42, we check in on the situation at our border.
People living along Park Boulevard near Balboa Park frustrated over traffic backing up into their neighborhoods, why they're blaming the city.
Street lights out on Wisteria Drive in the Loma Portal neighborhood. We're working for you to get them fixed.
Locked out of Little League fields. Why coaches and parents say parks outside of town are better.
CBS 8 News live at 6 starts right now. Right now, the U.S. House of Representatives is in the middle of heated debate over the new debt ceiling bill. Good evening. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
And I'm Shannon Handy in for Marcella Lee. President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy brokered the deal over the weekend. Since then, several Republicans and some Democrats have said they would do what they could to stop the bill from passing. CBS 8's Jesse Pagan is keeping tabs on the House's progress. Jesse, what do we know right now?
Shannon, Carlo, I've been listening to Congress members speaking now on the House floor. They're actually in the final statements, getting ready to close the session before they vote. Many of them are standing on the point of this not being a perfect deal, but essentially it's the best they've got. The bill has been controversial from the get-go. The Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2023 would raise the debt ceiling for 2 years. In exchange, federal spending would stay flat, unused COVID relief money would be reclaimed, there would be cuts to the IRS, and new work requirements for some people on food assistance programs. Up until yesterday, some hardline Republicans bashed House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, saying Democrats hoodwinked him in the negotiations and they would be voting no. Some Democrats have also said they're not happy and think President Biden gave too much. Despite that, House Majority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says Democrats will pony up the votes to pass the bill. Two of San Diego's Democratic congressmembers say they will vote for it, albeit with some reservations.
I don't vote for this legislation excited about it as much as very concerned about the alternative, which would be catastrophic default.
That we're avoiding default. I wish we had done more. You know, we have really big challenges with debt and with the exploding interest costs, which are going to affect our budget year to year. We need to do something about that.
Now, we've reached out to the rest of our Congress members. We're waiting to hear back from them. Meantime, the action on the House floor continues. I just checked again during those sound bites there from the Congress members. Speaker McCarthy has his work cut out for him. He's been trying to convince his party to pass the deal, enough of them to vote it, to pass it instead of sidelining it. He's spoken today several times, saying the bill starts the shift in how the country handles its finances. Again, all of this as we get closer to that June 5th deadline. Of course, we're going to be on top of this throughout the night on social, on air, and all over the place. Carlo?
All right, Jesse, thanks for keeping us up to date. New details tonight about a Camp Pendleton Marine charged with illegally manufacturing and selling weapons to undercover ATF agents. 22-year-old Christian Ferrari is an active duty Marine who is among 33 people arrested as part of a 3-month operation. The goal of this operation was to get illegal weapons, particularly ghost guns, off the streets. 165 weapons were seized, half of those ghost guns. Authorities say Ferrari sold them a total of 12 AR-15 style rifles.
A large group of migrants is waiting for answers right now at our border with Mexico. Tomorrow marks 2 weeks since Title 42 ended, reshaping American immigration and drawing attention to the ever-growing border issue.
We sent CBS 8's Kirsten Holmes to the border to give us an update. She joins us live right now with details. Kirsten.
Yeah, we are live here at the San Ysidro Port of Entry. If you take a look behind me, you can see the bridge and the fencing. On the other side of all of that stands another group of about 100 migrants looking for asylum in the United States. Activists and people seeking asylum here in our country tell us that, yes, Title 42 has ended, but not the conditions that push people to our border for help.
3 days. 3 days? 3 days. In Mexico, 45 days. They tell me maybe you wait, maybe we can go inside.
That's what Sultan and Falandun, both from Kyrgyzstan, say as they wait at the U.S.-Mexico border in Tijuana. Nearly 2 weeks after Title 42 expired and Title 8 kicked in, the number of border crossings are lower than originally projected. Pedro Rios is a human rights activist with the American Friends Service Committee. He says Border Patrol is
ensuring that people are picked up and not having to being forced to wait in areas that are just inhospitable and could endanger their lives.
Approach is 133 people here waiting to attempt asylum apply.
Enrique Lucero is Tijuana's Municipal Director of Migrant Assistance.
The problem is a less appointment
because the demand is so bigger.
One person who didn't want their face shown on camera told us through a translator app.
The queue moves very slowly. We would really like it if the officers were able to launch more people, and we would pass faster, would not freeze and would not sleep on the ground and would not eat on concrete steps.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says Title VIII is working because it has legal pathways to asylum and more punitive measures for unlawful crossings. Migrants must now prove they were first denied asylum in a country they passed through on their way to the United States, or they could face criminal prosecution, detention, and a 5-year ban from re-entering. Rio says the person seeking asylum and gains entry to the United States doesn't fare better than the person who was detained at the border because they did not meet Title VIII requirements.
Both are extremely difficult to obtain a positive notification of either receiving asylum or remaining in the U.S. and not being deported.
We reached out to Customs and Border Protection for comment on this story. We still have not heard back, but the migrants we talked to today at our border right now come from Honduras, Venezuela, and Middle Eastern countries. Reporting live for CBS 8, I'm Kirsten Holmes. Back to you.
Kirsten, we've been reporting on this for the last few weeks now, and a lot of what these migrants are saying is that the process is very confusing. So what are officials telling them? What's the best way to start the legal entry process into the U.S.?
The best way officials are telling us to start that process is by going through the CBP app. A lot of people have been complaining about the app, but they are working out those problems. Start with the app, and officials are trying to solve those problems as they arise.
All right, Kirsten, reporting live for us tonight. Thank you so much.
Tonight, at least one person is dead following a fatal crash in Fairmount Park. We're told a pedestrian was hit by a car just before 5 this morning on Home Avenue near Gateway Drive. The eastbound lanes of Home Avenue were closed for several hours. Police are still investigating, we're told, but they do say that it does not appear to be a DUI-related crash. If you've used Park Boulevard to hit Balboa Park recently, you probably got stuck in traffic. People who live in the area blame the city's plan to ease congestion. They say it's just making things worse, at least for drivers. CBS 8's Rocio De La Fe is live in Balboa Park with the frustration. Rocio.
Yeah, that's right. For many people who live in this area and others who just frequent Balboa Park, they say they're upset because the park tends to fill up on the weekends like we saw this past holiday weekend. And they say that combined with the lack of street parking and traffic being reduced to just one lane is really starting to back traffic up into residential areas. And they say they fear that these issues are only going to get worse as we head into the summer.
Fred Knight lives in Hillcrest and says this past Memorial Day weekend he was coming back from the store when he ran into this bumper-to-bumper traffic.
They got rid of over 300 plus parking spaces, which has now funneled people into residential areas for parking.
Earlier this year, the city of San Diego got rid of an estimated 300 parking spots along Park Boulevard between President's Way and Morley Field Drive, reducing vehicle traffic from 2 lanes in each direction to 1 and using the second lane for buses only. It also added a separated bikeway. Knight, who rides his bike regularly, says he's not against the addition of bike lanes. His biggest frustration is the traffic spilling into residential neighborhoods.
The biggest issue that we run into is not necessarily the parking on the street, it's that they take over the alleys.
Online, people took to a neighborhood app to voice their frustration. One person said, "I'm a bicyclist, but I do not understand why the city felt it had to dedicate a full lane to just buses on Park." Another added, "It's horrible right now. It's going to be crazy scary starting next month." Knight believes the holiday weekend is a sign of what's to come this summer when more people visit the park.
The parking, not only for the residents in the residential areas, but also the illegal parking that takes place and the potential hazards.
The city recommends people visiting Balboa Park to park at Inspiration Point, which offers free tram services. The tram runs every 15 minutes.
I get what they're trying to do. It's just that the infrastructure as far as the transit system to accommodate everybody is just not there.
Ryan Folomir, who also lives in the area, agrees.
you have to change a lot infrastructure-wise. You can't just pop in bike lanes. You can't just make this a bus lane. There has to be more changes to have that fully integrated.
But he says the city does need more protected bike lanes and thinks residents will just have to adapt to the new changes. I reached out to the city about the complaints from some residents but didn't hear back. Earlier this year, Mayor Todd Gloria said the changes were necessary for transit improvement.
A lot of folks go up and down this road every single day to go to work, to go to school, to go to some of these attractions again in Balboa Park. It's a very important part of our regional transportation network.
Now, the city also adds that all of these changes to Park Boulevard is actually helping the city reach its climate action plan goals of increasing transit ridership. We're live near Balboa Park. Rocio de la Fe for CBS 8.
Thanks, Rocio. Tonight, the City of San Diego crews are working hard to make progress on the backlog of 6,000 streetlight repairs needed across the entire city.
Quite a number. Our Brian White is working for you in the Loma Portal neighborhood, where residents tell us some streetlights have been out for years.
A quaint neighborhood street here on Wisteria Drive. American flags, basketball hoops, dog walkers, and the occasional airplane overhead here in the flight path. But come nightfall,
it's very dark out here, and people leave their porch lights on, but that doesn't really help.
Deborah Padua has lived on this street for over 50 years, and she says the lights around here haven't worked for quite some time.
It's about 2 years, and we've been without street lights, and we don't have any idea why.
How many street lights are out on the street?
Every one of them.
She took this video at night to show just how dark it gets out here.
There are people around here. My son is one of them who works one night a week until 2 in the morning. So coming home here, it's very hard to see. If somebody was out in the street, you'd probably hit them because you couldn't see them.
And on top of that, without any lighting, people around here don't feel safe at night.
Lately, we've had, several Ring cameras around here pick up people casing cars. My son's car was stolen right in front of our house.
She's even tried installing extra lights around her home.
Okay, so this is the floodlight on the corner here that my son put in, just in case people come by.
She and others have filed get-it-done reports for years now, to no avail.
I would just like to see at least somebody explain to us why we don't have lights and then get them fixed.
So I reached out to the City of San Diego's Transportation Department, which oversees streetlight repairs, and they say maintenance staff was here in October working on the antiquated series circuit system. But as of right now, they're waiting for a nearby construction project to be finished in August before crews come out again to make repairs.
It is very frustrating being that we are a cul-de-sac and it's very dark down here. We don't have, extra lights down here at all.
And that may change because the city tells me they're going to look at installing temporary solar lights here to help out in the meantime until repairs can be made. In Loma Portal, working for you, Brian White, CBS 8.
Here at CBS 8, we want to help solve problems affecting you. If there's something you'd like us to look into, just email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com.
Still ahead tonight, will you get a bonus payment next month if you're a Social Security recipient we verified?
Plus, we investigate complaints the city of San Diego is striking out when it comes to maintaining its sports facilities.
Daytime highs for today were below seasonal. We saw the biggest gap across inland areas. Today marked the coolest day of the week, but what does the weekend have in store? Details ahead.
And up next, the way you watch Padres games at home is changing.